Hi, this is A New Nigeria with Wale Oluwade. This is your current affairs program where we critically examine the strategic issues bedeviling Nigeria's developmental aspirations and boldly offer simple, practical, but audacious ideas on building the Nigeria of our collective desires. On today's episode of the program, I have a guest, a former minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, with whom we'll be having a wide-ranging conversation on sensitive topical issues. But before that, here's my take on what I've christened strong men and democracy. It was French King Louis XIV who famously quipped, "El État c'est moi," loosely translated, "I am the state." King Louis XIV was France's and world's longest reigning monarch from 1643 until his death in 1715. His 72 years, 110 days reign was renowned for his many continental wars. Now, he was nicknamed Louis the Great, Rosselier. Now, he was a man who possessed grandiose ideas about himself and France. He was a key adherent of the theory of divine rights of kings. He propagated and consolidated absolute monarchy, which pervaded that era. Now, why did I dig up this piece of European history? Well, a couple of weeks ago in nearby River State, Nigeria, a reincarnation of sorts of King Louis revealed himself. Watch this video.
The young people, those group of men who claim that are assembly members are not assembly members. They are not existing. I want it to be on record. I accepted that peace accord. I accepted that peace accord to give them a floating. That's the truth. There was nothing in that peace accord that is a constitutional issue. It's a political solution to a problem. And I accepted it because these were people that were eating in my house. These were people that have helped pay their children's school fees when I wasn't even a governor. So what is the thing there? Yeah, we might have a division, but I believe that one day we could also come together. And that was the reason I did it. But I think it's gotten to a time when I need to make a statement on this thing so that they understand that they're not existing. Their existence is me allowing them to exist. If I de-recognize them, they are nowhere. That's the truth.
A governor elected to serve for a mere 4 years in a democratic government has approximated the divine right of kings to himself. By his declaration, he has trashed the ground norm, the 1999 Constitution, the very one he swore by an oath publicly to obey and defend, but rather he has become the law. So, shall we then say, all hail King Fubara, or Fubara is River State? That's just on a lighter note. But seriously, may I remind Governor Fubara that Nigeria is a constitutional democracy, at least on paper, and that in a democracy, there are three co-equal, interdependent, yet different arms of government, that these have separate powers, and each act as a check and balance on one another, and crucially, only the law is king. The law is sovereign in a democracy. That genuine democracy forbids the emergence of monarchs, tyrants, or strongmen. What democracy contemplates are the various institutions created by it and operating within and under the rule of law in furtherance of good governance, justice, and equity. But I am neither oblivious to, nor do I feign ignorance of the hostile environment under which the governor is operating, and that he is fighting, as it were, for his political life. The feuding 25 former legislators aren't necessarily interested in good governance or democracy per se, but merely obeying the dictates of their master in Abuja. And this master himself being the perfect archetype of strongman politics. Thus, if Governor Fubara fails to assert himself through strongman tactics, he is toast. And therein lies the rule of strongmen. That is the mimic of government who operates in Nigeria, which we christen democracy. And it is not localized to River State. At the federal level, the president of Nigeria is infallible. He can spend 1.06 trillion naira on a needless and utterly misplaced coastal road project without legislative approval, and nobody dares question or stop him. In Abia State, former Governor Okeze Ikpeazu can award a contract for a new airport and pay 10 billion naira into the bank account of one who doesn't build airports, yet there is no airport and the money has simply vanished. In Kogi State, Governor Usman Ododo can use his vehicle to facilitate the escape of a fugitive from the law. Governor Basek in Edo State, can railroad the removal of his deputy from office. In Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde can conduct, in inverted commas, a farce of an election for local governments in which his party, won 33 the entire 33 seats available. All these governors in Nigeria can pocket the funds for local governments and nothing happens, and on it goes. In conclusion, and if this democracy must thrive and endure, and if tourists and investors must come to Nigeria, the strong men rulers of Nigeria must begin to act like true democrats. Nobody and nothing demarcates Nigeria on a daily basis than the acts of her strong men rulers. And that's my take. I'll take this short break, and when I return, I'll get right into the conversation with my guests. Please stay with us. Welcome back. My guest today is Barrister Adebayo Shittu. He was a former Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Oyo State. He was, from 2015 to 2019, Honorable Minister for Communications under President Muhammadu Buhari's first term in office. And is a politician, a leading public affairs commentator, an intellectual, if I might add. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Oluwade.
Nice to see you again.
Thank you so very much for bringing me again.
No, yeah, we have to. We have to.
At no cost to you.
We have to. So let's get right into this. A lot has happened since the last time you and I spoke on the several issues in Nigeria. We have a number of issues to cover, and I don't know. Anyway, let's start from they say all politics are local. So let's start from Oyo State. There was local government elections in Oyo State a couple of, let's say like 3 weeks ago, thereabout. Well, let me use the phrase expectedly, or the word expectedly. PDP governments in Oyo State, they won 33 over 33.
There was no local government election in Oyo State. There was supposed to be one.
So why would you say that, sir?
There was supposed to be one. We were promised every night there would be free, fair, and, acceptable election. But, I mean, there was no election.
No, why would you say that?
It was really banditry on the part of the state government and on the part of
these are strong words.
The OCEC. I deliberately use it because that is exactly what it is.
These are very strong words.
It is electoral banditry.
Wow.
For you,
Can
government,
this?
I will.
Anyway, you're a lawyer.
For you to, I expect anybody to come and contradict me. For you to promise that there will be election, for you to vote money for election. I left Abuja to go and participate in the election. In my hometown, Shaki in Okiogun, area of Oyo State, we have 228 polling units. Okay. On the day of the supposed election, the electoral officer for the local government simply disappeared. He was nowhere to be found, and so he was nowhere to even distribute election materials.
This is the person in custody of the local government.
And in all the 228 local governments, polling units in Shaki West local government, there was no single place where any polling officers showed up. And I'm saying this on good authority. At my level, I would not tell lies. Under any circumstance, and I've challenged the state government. As it happened in Shaki, so did it happen in more than 90% of polling units throughout Oyo State. In a few places like where the governor himself voted, there was, a symbolic
semblance
symbolic showing, just to show to the press, to, misuse it, to mislead the press and the public as if there was election. In the place where, the gubernatorial candidate of APC in the last election voted,
there were Senator
Teslim. There was, usually there are about 2,000 voters on the list in that polling unit. only 200 ballot papers were supplied. Only 200, that is 10%. And in Shaki, interestingly, for an election that's supposed to have started by 8 and ended between 2 and 3, by 11 a.m. in the morning, the PDP elements in Shaki had started rejoicing all over the streets of Shaki.
That they had won.
That they had won. And this is an election. A few months back, there was an election, a by-election in Shaki for the House of Assembly candidate. We defeated, the APC defeated,
The PDP.
PDP, because Shaki is a typically and unapologetically APC zone. So there was no election. It was mischief, it was electoral banditry on the part of Governor Sheyi Makinde
like I said earlier, sir.
the Electoral Commission, unfortunately,
Let me
led
comment,
by
sir.
a senior advocate of Nigeria who allowed
Okay, the
himself
OCEC in Oyo State is headed by a senior advocate of
who
Nigeria.
unfortunately allowed himself to be messed up.
Well, you are a lawyer too, so
Yes.
you guys can.
Yes.
But sir, let me let's interrogate this your claims, your assertions. Very strong one, like I said. First off, viewers listening to you will say you're just crying wolf. In any case, they would also say, if APC were the ruling government in Oyo State, it would be the same thing.
Look,
Across the entire landscape of Nigeria.
whoever-
No, hold on a minute, sir.
Okay.
Hold on a minute, sir. This is what, state by state, this is what has been going on all over Nigeria.
that is,
Permit me, sir. The only state,
yes,
and this is curious, because the only state that seemed to have conducted, former Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State was the one who seemed to have conducted anything that is remotely close to what genuine democracy is, where I think PDP's won 1 or 2 local governments when he was governor. And this is the El-Rufai that everybody thought was so combative, so whatever. But he seemed to have conducted a free, fair, in fact, they used beavers, they used the voting machines and all of that. So, number one, like I said, they will say you're crying wolf. They will say this is what APC would have done. Number 3, you are just in Shaki. If I got you right, you are only in one local government. Oyo State has
as a
33
leader,
local
as
governments.
one
I
of
was
the
born and raised in
leaders.
Oyo State,
I mean,
so I went to school in Oyo. So
are you
cannot
saying-
be all over Oyo
Are
State.
you
sir.
saying the fact that I was not in all the 33 local government areas, so I don't have colleagues, I don't have party elders,
You
I don't have leaders?
even here admitted that I think Governor Sheyi Makinde, if I'm not mistaken, from Ibadan North or Ibadan South.
He's in, maybe northeast
No,
or something.
So you said there seemed to be, you called it a show for the public.
Why
but there was
would there?
democracy there.
Why-
You said where Teslim, sorry sir, you also said where former APC Guba candidate for 2023 voted. There are 2,000 membership list,
Yes,
voters list,
yes.
but only 200. Isn't that, isn't the reason fair enough that, I mean, for local government selection, voter turnout will be low?
Look. I mean, I'm surprised that you are giving all these, with due respect,
I have to say, sir.
very baseless, defenses.
Okay.
Number one,
Tell me why.
Let me tell you,
Okay.
if I, even as APC,
Yes.
if I ever become governor, elections will hold in a free and fair atmosphere. Criminals, whether in APC or PDP or whichever party, remain criminals.
True.
We have Nigerians who engage in armed robbery. Can that be a justification for any, person to say because somebody has committed armed robbery in the past, so that would be a justification for him? Look, we as a party, I'm just one of the leaders of the party. Every leader of our party in Oyo State will tell you exactly what I'm telling you. After there must be synergy.
Sir, let's wrap up on this.
So the fact that you have even concluded that it was only in Kaduna State under El-Rufai
Yes.
that a seemingly free and fair election
Absolutely.
held
Absolutely.
will be a justification or a confirmation of what I'm saying, that in Oyo State 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago there was never any election.
Well, like I said, the argument can keep going on back and forth. The question is, so what are you? You're one of the leaders of the party in Oyo State, not just in your local government. So what remedies are you seeking? I guess.
Well, the remedy that we are seeking is for the National Assembly to live up to its billing of amending the law to ensure that all state-run local government elections are conducted by INEC.
So you think that's the solution?
Yes, it will be the solution because...
Are you thinking about the cost and also overburdening INEC that already is incapacitated, so ineffective?
It will be
INEC
most
not
unfair.
ineffective?
It will be most unfair to say INEC is incapacitated. INEC recently, within the last 1 year, conducted elections, which was adjudged as free and fair.
You're talking about the general elections?
Yes.
The elections that has been generally adjudged as
Who
perhaps
generally
the worst,
adjudged?
perhaps
I mean,
local
that is a
and
most
foreign,
uncharitable-
local and foreign election observers.
This is a most uncharitable.
And I, in my own humble,
is a most uncharitable
in my own
conclusion.
humble,
To say INEC,
statements, I've followed democracy.
Are you saying all
I've
Nigerians
followed
are
politics
criminals?
since 1993.
Are you saying all Nigerians
That
are
is
criminals?
perhaps one of
We
the
are not
worst
talking of
elections.
1993. We are talking of 2023 general elections. And you know that wherever you had to vote, you went there, you meet INEC officials who would ensure that you casted your vote. And these people who went to court to say that the President Tinubu's election, was rigged, they went to court, they filed processes, and they could not say how many votes they scored, which would have been in excess of what Tinubu.
Sir, let's focus on.
gained.
Let's leave.
I mean, these are very, pedestrian arguments.
Accusations and counter accusations about 2023 general elections, have been.
Of course,
let's leave that.
A very
the
good
ghost
election.
will never be buried. History would vindicate everybody.
You see,
but let's focus on. Let's focus on finding solutions. I am particularly interested in the conduct of local government elections in Nigeria. And I'm not interested in any political party. I am not a card-carry member of any political party. I say this on national TV. Anybody can.
No, that's your choice.
I am not a card-carry member of any political party.
That is your choice.
My single objective is Nigeria.
Okay.
Nigeria for me is a calling.
Okay.
I love this country passionately.
Okay, like many of us do.
And I am heartbroken.
Yes.
Consistently at the gross underdevelopment purely due to a criminal leadership at every level. Criminal leadership.
You see,
no, sir. Let me finish. Let me land, sir.
Let me land. Let me land. Invited me here to answer questions.
Let me land.
Make sure you don't give us lectures.
Let me land. I will not give you lectures.
Otherwise, I will not have enough time to respond.
No, you are going to have. This is going to be 50 minutes.
Make it.
Now, like I said, a leadership class that is basically criminal in their tendencies. So, and I believe development takes place at the grassroots level. So we need to get leadership rights at the grassroots.
Let me tell you.
Hitherto, all of us are focused on the federal and the states.
Yes.
Sir, so this is why I think elections at the local governments must be free, they must be credible, and competent people must be put there.
Yes.
And so I ask you again, sir, what is the solution to this sham, this charade of so-called elections for local government? What is the solution?
I have told you.
2 minutes, sir, so that we can take more issues.
The public is listening,
yes,
and they need to hear from me.
Yes.
I have said it, so long as we have governors conducting local government elections, most of them, with due respect to those who are respectable, most of them are gubernatorial bandits.
Once again, these are strong words.
Well,
so can we use more temperate language?
Let me tell you, I am saying it from the deepest
Let's use more temperate language.
It's okay, it's okay. We have a situation where, for instance, under the financial, the distribution of resources,
yes,
the federal government is supposed to take 52%.
Yes.
The state 26,
yes,
the local governments 22.
Yes.
The people who already have 26%, they are greedy. They are looking at that 20% to local government. Instead of them to share this to local governments, they try to keep it. 200 million, for instance, will come into for a local government A. Our governors will give them 15 million
just to pay salaries,
and that is it. So long as there's nobody checking them, and I have been arguing about this, how would they feel if the federal government does the same thing to them, to governors,
But, sir,
and compromises on the resources meant for the
sir,
states?
this is the...
Why would they do what they would not allow? Why would they do to local governments what they would not allow to be done to them?
You are a trained lawyer, sir. When the Constitution, recognizes local governments as the third tier of government, but at the same time, hamstrings the smooth functioning of the local governments. How? By stating the creation of what is called joint accounts committee between the states and the local government. That's where this whole crisis comes from.
You see, let me tell you, if there had been proper local government elections,
Yes.
I am very confident that APC would have swept the poll. And I had actually done an interview where I warned that once we win these elections, we will not allow the joint state local government accounts to be bastardized.
How would
again.
APC have won the elections? In the last general elections, Governor Shea Makinde defeated Senator Teslim by over 200,000
Are you also
votes.
aware?
Yes.
Are you also aware
Yes.
that of the 14 House of Rep elections in Oyo State, we won 9. APC won 9. APC won 9.
What of senators?
Of the
What of the three
senators,
senators?
we won the 3. APC won the 3.
Currently in Oyo State.
I am telling you that. You can check, you can cross-check.
Okay,
These
sir.
are facts.
Sir, on this issue, because we need to wrap up on this local government elections in your state and generally all over Nigeria, what is the role? Because if states election bodies conduct this so-called sham of an election, the reason why democracy, even at the state level, have 3 arms, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, the strongest arm that acts as a check on the excesses of the executive is the state houses of assembly. You're laughing, sir. Because we seem to say, oh, it has failed, let's go to INEC, let's go to INEC. You have a state house of assembly that ought to be able to restrain the executive. Because, no, hold on, sir.
Yeah.
Let me ask the question. Why will the House of Assembly not move impeachment proceedings against the governor?
You see,
Or call for the disbursement of the OSEC?
I am coming. Even if they don't call for it, if the National Assembly, stands up to its responsibilities of ensuring...
No, not National Assembly, State House of Assembly.
I will come to that.
Okay.
The State House of Assembly are hamstrung because the governors are said to be leaders of the party in each state. It is the governors who give members of the State House of Assembly tickets to be able to contest for election into the House of Assembly. Even though in many cases they also give people coming to the center, to the National Assembly, but governors are not the heads of the executive, at the center.
You're talking about
in the
politics
state,
now. I'm talking about constitution.
It is also
legally,
politics.
the
It is
legal
also,
in practice,
let me tell
legally.
you, is it not politics that took them to the House of Assembly?
So by your argument, sir, we can conclude that the reason why governance has failed, both at the federal and the states, is purely a poor quality of politicians
Your
occupying
conclusions
this.
do not have basis, my dear brother.
Okay, let's
with
leave
due
that.
respect
But,
to
okay,
you.
but governance has failed at the
It
states.
has failed because to the extent that, let me tell you, in the local government, I was
Yes.
home over the last weekend. Roads that are local government roads
Yes.
in my place as well as in many other local are in a very terrible,
bad state of disrepair.
disrepair. Because the so-called elected executives at the local government have been hamstrung, have not been given their entitlements, financial entitlements from the national level. So they just sit there. A lot of them do not even go to the office. If you meet any of them, one-on-one, the so-called chairman, they will tell you they are just wasting away at the local government because the governors are the ones controlling their resources.
That is why I asked you, what is the duties, the functions of the state houses of assembly?
The State House of Assembly have failed because they are always most of them are rubber stamp assemblies. They are tied to the apron string of the executive.
Because of poor quality of the people in those assemblies.
It is not about poor quality alone.
And this leads me to the next question, sir. This leads me to the next question. The role of political parties in all of this. It is political parties that throw up leaders in a democracy. We seem to be in a democracy on paper. To me personally, I think it's just on paper. So if political parties cannot throw up, cannot nurture and groom credible people, For you, sir,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm not saying it because I'm seated with you. I say it, to one of my friends. When I saw how you left President Buhari's administration and you were not returned and all of that, I and a few others like you, Solomon Dalong, Lieutenant General Dambazao, I asked myself, is it that good people, in inverted commas, cannot, people in government don't seem to want good people around them? Because I can vouch for you. I can stand for you.
That's the
Sorry, hold on,
reality.
sir.
Okay.
I can stand for you that you are someone I know who is honest. I know you will not steal in government or, I can be proven wrong. Maybe you change, I don't know. But
I won't change
to the point that I know you are very honest.
At 71,
And I know you are very principled. I know you are very independent-minded. So, why would political parties not attract your likes into their fold and throw you up for public offices? So, why are they throwing up, men of questionable characters? Because I know you cannot be Speaker of a State House of Assembly, and you allow a governor
even
get away with murder.
When I was
So
a member,
why are political parties unable to, practice democracy the way it should be done?
let me tell you, I was a member of the House of Assembly in 1979 in Oyo State.
Yes.
I was in the same party as Bolage, who was then governor, Unity Party of Nigeria. On the 8th day of our inauguration, I started having problems with Bolage because he sent us a letter. Please, dear Mr. Speaker, please get the House to approve the following list as commissioners. No CV, no resume, nothing. And I stood up and
portfolios are not attached.
And no portfolio, no resume.
No resume that you can even use to
even
determine how they are
And I said,
competent.
no, this house must not be allowed to become a rubber stamp assembly. Nor should it be allowed to be an apron string of the governor's office. It became a big problem. That was in 1979. So if I am in the house, despite my being in the same political party with whoever is governor, I will not tolerate, thing. Now the problem with our political parties is that whoever becomes an executive governor becomes a strong man. He becomes a leader. He is the one who has money to give to political party leaders. He is the one who has the wherewithal to appoint people in political offices. And these are the issues that strangulate, party political leaders to make them almost, non-performing. So we need a whole lot of people. And I must also say, in so long as we do not get, a mixed bag of membership of legislative houses from different political parties, we will continue to have. Once the governor's party controls the legislature in terms of membership, they will be dancing to it because they want another, ticket for the next election. They perhaps also want benefits.
Case, I mean, what you said now would have been correct, but sadly, at the federal level, you have the National Assembly comprised of, a fair number of Labour Party persons, PDP and APC, and then one or two other parties having one or two. But yet, there's barely any form of dissent. Anything the government brings.
You see, you don't dissent for the fun of dissenting.
We'll get there shortly.
You
because
don't
this is
just dissent
there are
for
some
the fun.
policies of the federal government that requires
some of these
strong advocacy to say, no, this cannot fly. Well, anyway, sir, let's take a short break, and then we'll continue. We'll take this short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with our conversation. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Senator, sorry, sir, Honorable Minister, before we wrap up on political parties and all of that, Ondo State had party primaries for PDP, APC, and all of that. I was interested, especially in the APC primaries for their governorship, which is coming up maybe June, September or so, if I'm not mistaken. Now, each time I stumble on the TV, I don't know why, I always saw Senator Jimoh Ibrahim, and was sounding so confident of victory.
Before the
primaries. He was actually even using some very unflattering, derogatory remarks or comments about the sitting governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, that, he's a figurehead, he has won already, that he, Jimoh Ibrahim, had won. So I was like, what is giving this guy this confidence?
Yeah.
And I knew he was going to get served breakfast, the way we say it on the streets in Nigeria. And guess what? He was served very hot, delicious breakfast. And he has been going all over the place, crying blue mother. Oh, let me use the phrase he used. He said, he called the process a mega fraud. That's what he called the process. The question is, maybe let's do this in 1 minute so that we can move to other issues. Why can't political parties conduct their affairs democratically?
Well,
can we ever have party primaries that will not end in a fracas?
Jimoh Ibrahim has not shown in what way he was defrauded. Even though he's been making all the...
But he's gone to court anyway. I think it's for the courts to determine.
Well, I mean, if the matter is already in court, then we cannot comment.
But he was not the only one who cried foul. Olushola did. A couple of other contestants did.
7 of others have accepted.
Because political solution was adopted.
Whatever it is, some have accepted, and you know that if you look at the trajectory of Lucky Aiyedatiwa, I saw that he was going to win, even from afar, because after the death of his principal,
yes.
He started mending fences with a whole lot of people and so on and so forth. And, particularly because he's in office as governor. A lot of people will need one thing or the other. Ibrahim, of course, is a self-made man. He doesn't need anything from anybody, in terms of materials and all of that. He's alone.
Yeah.
In that,
of course, he's been. He's become a lone man.
That utopian, height.
It's okay, sir. Let's leave that. So let's come to the national now. Last time I know, when you were here, you had very strong argument in support of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's a major backer of the president, and you worked vigorously to put him in office.
Without apologies.
Now it will be 1 year, May. That last time you came here, and I told you, are you sure the government is on track? Because I was having serious doubts. Guess what, sir? Things have gotten rather worse, much worse than the time you were here. Are you not worried that your president has failed?
Well, it will be uncharitable to say he has failed.
Okay.
It's just like you want to build a house. You engage, a bricklayer or a civil engineer, and perhaps he needs 4 years to finish construction. After a year, you say he has failed. Has any of the walls broken down? Has any of the walls broken down? Is it still not work in progress?
I like the analogy. Sorry, sir. I like your analogy of
Nigeria.
Want to build a house. Now, if I give you a contract, let's play scenario. Let's play scenario.
Yes.
If I give you a contract to build me a house, even if it's a bungalow,
Yeah.
and I come there 2 weeks after I've mobilized you, I expect to see you digging foundation, right?
Yes.
That shows that you know what you're doing.
Exactly.
But then I come there, you're not digging foundation.
You see,
you're not doing anything. This administration is focusing on the wrong things.
I would love that we give them another 1 week when they will come and bring up their scorecard.
Sir.
They have rolled out a 1 week project. And I know part of it is that they will be coming to roll out the achievements of the government. As a
major backer of the president, let me allow you 2 minutes. Give us 1 or 2, 3 major accomplishments of this administration as a major backer of President.
Now, you see, it is not as easy as that, because this is about governance. It's not about building.
Because there is nothing to show. Because you have nothing to say to justify being in office for a year.
No, I don't work for government.
But you are a backer of the president.
I am a backer, but I don't work. So
yes, I know you
the information that I will require to answer these questions are not handy now. But I am aware that the government has promised to reel out their achievements. I would have loved that this interview is coming up perhaps in another 2 weeks.
But we're having it now, sir. So let's deal with these issues now.
I am telling you, I'm not the Minister of Information. I'm not special advisor on information.
Let me provide some context. Since 1 year in office,
yes,
the critical economic stats are not just negative. They are pretty dire. They are dire. Let me give you, inflation today is 33.69. MBS figures. No, hold on, sir. Let me give this. Let me just give this. 33.69. The highest in the history of Nigeria. Number 2, food inflation is well over, nearing 50%. FX rate, of course, 1,400, 1,500.
Look,
From 700.
I live in Nigeria.
Now,
all these issues,
unemployment rate.
Part of
you
those.
have sons, you have daughters.
Yes.
I have relatives. We know Nigerians.
Yes.
Unemployment rates could not have been higher.
Yeah.
Now, multidimensional poverty. 2019, MBS said it was 133 million. Only God knows how many now.
No, I mean,
we can go on and on.
People claim
Sir,
that it's about
sir,
200.
these are the realities
Yes.
on ground.
Yes.
When this government came, in a very cavalier manner, the president removed subsidy on fuel. At the same time, floated the naira against the almighty dollar. And then before we could even, and all of that threw the economy into a tailspin. We were still trying to grapple with that. They brought in electricity tariff hike from 68 to 225 naira. Now, when people put pressure and all of that, they brought it down to 206. Labour finally woken up belatedly. National Assembly finally woken up belatedly. And all of this, people have said, it seems the president is only out with his team to tax Nigerians to the bone, to death.
Well, I hope not.
So now, I've given you some context.
Yes.
Can you speak
You see, let me tell you, all these things you have wrote, I am a living witness
Definitely.
of all of these
facts.
things.
These
All
are
of
facts.
I'm
These
a
are facts.
living witness. I'm
Yes.
equally affected like
Of
any
course.
other person.
Of
I don't
course.
work for government, like I said, but I want to give government, I want to be fair enough to allow them to celebrate their 1 year in office, by which time they have promised to let Nigerians know. Because Yorubas have this adage, people in government are different from those of us not in government. They will be able to, they are the ones interacting with the economies, interacting with the banks, interacting with foreign something. They will come. I wish you would invite maybe the Minister of Finance or the Minister of Budget and Planning or the Minister of Information to come and tell Nigerians what government has been able to do against all these,
Sir,
Sir,
where you come from, you're an elder from where we both come from. What you elder says that if your wife says she's cooking, even though you can't see what she's cooking, the smell wafting out from the kitchen will give you some comfort.
Interestingly, this is not about
So
cooking.
We're not smelling anything. You said we should wait for them. We're not smelling anything.
I would rather wait.
Let's go. I want us to have a very intellectual conversation.
Yes.
You're an ardent Awolowo disciple.
Certainly, I was trained directly by the late Chief of Awolowo.
You've said that to me so many times. I've seen you on TV say that. You like to tout that.
Yes.
So let's use Awolowo as a benchmark to examine President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Sir, was Awolowo servile? Was he subservient to foreign powers, multilateral institutions, World Bank? The phenomenal achievement of Awolowo when he was premier of Western Nigeria. You could even, take it up to when he was vice chairman of the Federal Executive Council under General Gawan's military administration. What Awolowo did, was he listening to, because here we are today, foreign powers, World Bank, IMF are telling us, they are not saying it under the table openly that we have instructed the president, the government to do this, to do that.
I am not privy to all that.
No, sir. You know what I'm saying is correct.
No.
I don't peddle lies or rumors here. IMF said we have instructed them to remove fuel subsidy. We have instructed them to float the naira. We have instructed them to remove tariff on electricity. How do you feel as a Nigerian? Don't you feel as insulted?
Let me say this. Like I said, I am a direct student of the
under direct tutelage.
Directly, one-on-one. And as individuals, we have our differences. If I was Mr. President, for instance, and I want to use this opportunity to appeal to Mr. President that as a product, indirectly,
because all of us are indirectly,
of the Awolowo School of Politics, we, in our time, in the Unity Party of Nigeria, we had our 4 cardinal programs, which we believe would positively and universally affect all citizens.
And these are?
Free education at all levels. Free
at all levels, sir. At all levels. Quality education.
Free education at all levels, free health services, integrated infrastructural development, and full employment. I still have that. Any opportunity I have to lead any government.
Do you see this government focus on this?
Incidentally, this government has not yet adverted its mind or its attention.
You know, I said you're a very honest man.
You know, I know I will speak the
You're
truth.
a very honest man.
I
That's
will
why I
speak
like
the
you, sir.
truth.
You're a very honest man.
If I become president tomorrow, if I become governor of my state, education from day one, education will be completely free. Because, like, and I want to say this with all due respect to our leaders in APC and in the government, there are a few issues which require reform. One of it is the student loan thing.
I was coming there.
I would rather prefer that government makes education completely free. Education is a great leveler. Because if you are tasking our children to go into taking loans, you are bringing about uncertain future for them. It's not every one of them that will last for the next 10 years, 20 years, whatever. It's not all of them that would, as the situation is now, that will get jobs, will be able to pay. The cost of even administering these,
the
loan,
program, the NEL fund or something.
it would not be worth it. That is my belief.
Sir,
that is one. Number, please, because it's a very important
very
thing.
important.
Number two, the limitation of this loan to only government institutions, again, is discriminatory.
That is
and is
federal government owned
federal government institutions or state, federal government or state.
Yeah.
It is not the fault of people who go to private institutions that they are attending private institutions. If the Nigerian state had provided enough university spaces in Nigeria, nobody would prefer to go to private universities rather than government institutions. So to discriminate might even create about legal problems, because anybody can take government to court on the basis that the Constitution disallows discrimination. Number three, there's another policy which is coming up to say that any child that is not up to 18, cannot. Certainly, I have a child.
You have a problem with that.
I do.
But what about the argument that these children are not fully matured psychologically?
They are not matured, but they pass school certificate, they pass the job.
But can they endure in an environment, a university environment that is
the big thing about
that is free?
What is big thing about
in this generation where they are exposed to all kinds of social vices?
Many of these students not live in boarding houses, where their parents going with them to their schools. So I would just want to hint.
I think your point is noted. Sir, let's take two more points on this, then we'll take a break, then we'll come back to the final topic I want us to talk on. Still using Awolowo as a template. Sir, there's a burning project. There's a critical project being embarked upon by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. Several people, individuals, presidential candidates, Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, it was Atiku Abubakar that actually first raised alarm, called it a highway to fraud. Speaking about the Lagos-Calabar coastal highway, mega project, 15.6 trillion. Before you could say Jack, 1.06 trillion has been, paid up. Initially, Dave Umahi, Minister for Work, said it was going to be PPP. Now it's being funded. We don't know. No approval from National Assembly. So my question is, using Awolowo, sir, the biggest challenge I have with President Tinubu, I want him to succeed. I don't play ethnic politics. I don't know how to do that. I'm not a tribalistic person at all. I believe in competence and merit. And if you do the right thing, I'll support you. If you do the wrong thing, I'll call you out. My biggest problem since President Tinubu came to office is misplaced priority. That's a common language. In management terms, we call it lack of strategic thinking. The issues that require urgent attention today in Nigeria are our crude oil management, education, healthcare. Your colleague, Solomon Dalong, went to hospital. He was sick. Went to a government hospital in Jos. He almost died. You know why? Ordinary malaria. You know why? They asked him to provide 80,000 naira.
I read the story.
A former minister, sir. And he was unconscious. No.
He's a Nigerian.
Sir, I'm saying let's leave the fact that Nigerians have been holding the short end of the stick. Common Nigerians have been holding the short end of the stick. But I'm saying someone of that caliber, the medical doctor, the people there insisted he must make deposit of 80,000. So this guy had to come out of consciousness, your colleague, do the transfer before they continued, to treat him. The question is, the priorities of Nigeria. I'm not in government, but I'm educated enough to know what Nigeria's priorities are. Electricity is number one. All the money President Bola Tinubu is looking for, We can find. We already have it. If we manage our crude oil
Well,
very well, we have the money. We don't need money from anywhere. Number 3, education, healthcare, and all of that. Of course, I talked about your colleague who almost lost his life, Solomon Dalong, due to the hospital mandating, insisting that he must pay deposit and all of that. So if you have all, and then of course, not minding that there are so many roads all over Nigeria that are in such deplorable condition. Why is the president focused on this Lagos to Calabar phantom project that is going to nowhere, that cannot deliver anything economically? Sir, would Awolowo do this?
Awolowo may do it if he was. Look,
I disagree with you vehemently.
You may decide to disagree.
I disagree with you vehemently.
But I'm the one to answer this question.
Yeah.
Awolowo did roads that Awolowo did across Western Nigeria. Many of them are still.
Sir, what you gave us the 4 cardinal points of Awolowo. Education was one, healthcare, integrated development. Not one single road going to nowhere.
I don't know why you are too combative as a journalist. You are supposed to listen to me.
I'm not combative, sir.
Don't
I want
answer
us
the
to have
question.
a very.
You are answering the questions that are supposed to be directed to me.
But sir, you know we're pressed for time.
Awolowo could have done it because Nigeria, as a president, Nigeria, the entire Nigeria is his constituency. There's nothing wrong in having that transnational road. And it is not about Lagos-Calabar road alone. There's also the Badagry-Sokoto road, which will also come on stream.
Are these more important than electricity?
It is not. I mean, what you should be saying
is
what is being done on electricity. I don't want to believe that nothing is being done on electricity.
We have Mambila hydropower.
I don't know.
That is abandoned.
Do you know how much has been spent on Mambila?
Yes.
It is the issue of corruption that is holding Mambila.
Is this road more important than Ajaokuta still?
Let me tell you, is the work not going on Ajaokuta?
There's no work going on there.
During Buhari's regime,
yes,
the job of Ajaokuta was revived. And it was a contract thing. I don't know what has. We must get information adequately.
Sir,
it is not enough to
make
emotionally or sentimentally.
Let's take it.
Making comments on some of these projects.
So on that road, that is one. Secondly, NLC said because there's an ongoing battle between NLC and the federal government on minimum wage. The federal government came with 48, they rejected it. They came with 54 2 days ago. The NLC president, Joe Ajaero, said the workers' economy has been destroyed. Now, one of the northern leaders also came out and said, President Tinubu promised renewed hope, but it is a government of deception, destitution, and hopelessness. That's 30 seconds, sir. What do you have to say to this?
Those are individuals' perception.
There's a personal opinion.
Personal opinion.
Is it not is it too far from the reality?
No. You see, a lot of these comments are uncharitable.
NLC saying
have this day.
Workers' economy has been destroyed. Is that a lie?
Workers, we have. Let me tell you. Yes. You know the population of Nigerian
the
federal
minimum
workers.
Wage is 30,000 naira.
Do you know the population of federal workers in Nigeria?
Yes.
It's about 2 million.
Do you know the minimum population of unemployed
workers
Nigerians?
Alone that you should be concerned with?
If workers don't have an economy, what about unemployed Nigerians?
The minimum salary of my driver is 50,000.
Okay.
Even when the federal government
was doing 30,000.
I've been paying 50,000 to even my security people and all of that.
So you don't agree with that with NLC?
No, they have to negotiate, and it must be dependent on availability. You don't take a position that will lead to job losses, even within the federal government. If they say they want 600,000. And the federal government feels all that they can be spending on salaries a month is perhaps 10 billion, then there would be job losses.
But if the counter-argument is that government has money for misplaced priorities.
Well, let me tell you.
Building libraries in National Assembly, building 15 billion naira vice presidential lodge, going on all these junkets, spending billions on these
SUVs. I don't necessarily agree with many of these projects.
Yes.
But that is not to make a wholesale,
let's take a short break, sir. We'll come back and round up. Let's take a short break. We'll take this short break, and when I return, we'll conclude with my guests. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Sir, the issue of corruption has become, it has always been anyway.
It has always been endemic.
It has become a hydra-headed monster.
I agree.
And it's going to destroy this country if we don't do something about it. I wasn't too surprised when the National Assembly passed a bill, or in the process of making a bill proposing death penalty for drug traffickers. I support that.
I support.
But I thought they would have included terrorism, banditry, corruption. Because, you know, sir, at the federal level, Hadi Sirika, former Minister for Aviation, is currently, he was arraigned for 2.7 with his daughter. The next week, he was also arraigned again for 19.8 with another set of people. Only one person. Under this current government, I mean, Better Edu, former Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, and the list goes on. What's your view? Are we serious about corruption war?
Well, we are supposed to be serious if you are not yet serious.
Okay.
Again, you know, different people have different approaches to solving the issue of corruption. From my own background as a Muslim, a conscious Muslim, who knows the consequences of corruption in the hereafter and here on earth, I will never engage in it, and I will be more drastic, you know, if I have the opportunity of it. So I support the approach of the National Assembly to make corruption a capital offense, desiring the most capital, you know, punishment. And I want to, you know, urge Mr. President to really call a national conference on it for all stakeholders, you know, ECPC, ICPC, and so on, and the NGOs involved in the fight against corruption. Number one, this, you know, conference is very important for the purpose of even defining what is corruption in the civil service, what are the symptoms of corruption in the civil service, in the police, in the armed forces, in the private sector, in the banking industry, and all of that. So that Mr. President comes out and says, as from this moment, oh, things have changed and things will continue.
It's a new order.
Anybody who gets involved in this, and then many more people should be sensitized and encouraged to become whistleblowers in the issue of fight against corruption.
It's not just the federal. Look at the activities of state governors, which you earlier described, you know, in very strong terms as bandits and all of that. I don't think most of the government deserve to be governors. They were never meant to have been governors. Okeze Ekweazu is being alleged to have awarded a road, an airport contract. Money, 10 billion was paid to the account of a contractor who admitted in court that he told them he doesn't know how to build the airport. Now the money, the 10 billion,
he was not even given a location.
No location for the airport. Now there's no airport, there's no money. The 10 billion simply vanished. Ekweazu came on air to be saying the money was now, you know, from that place was transferred to various accounts for all sorts of projects. That is one. If you come to Kogi State, sir, look at the drama. You have been accused of stealing 80 billion from a state such as Kogi.
You cannot show up to defend yourself to say
just
that.
To even enter a plea. No, just to even enter a plea. You are carrying on like you are above the law. Sir, can you speak to this?
Well,
in like
honestly, Mr. President is our leader, is the Nigerian leader today. He must take the front seat in the fight against corruption. The level that corruption has reached in Nigeria makes Nigeria a laughing stock.
Absolutely, sir.
If we continue to invite foreign direct investment and leave the issue of corruption as open as it is, the outside world will not take us serious. Let people know that there will be consequences. For, you know, corrupt actions.
Brilliant. Finally, sir, as we wrap up now, I want you to speak on state policing. There was a conference the other day. A couple of former heads of state presidents championed it, President Goodluck Jonathan, but the head of police said, blah, 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 no, doesn't support it. But do you support state or community policing?
Honestly, I don't support it.
Why, sir?
Let me
not even community policing.
What is community policing?
Okay, tie this together with Amotekun security in the southwest.
Let Amotekun as vanguards continue to do their work.
Okay.
Let them also collaborate with the police, because...
Why are you not in support of state or community policing?
Let me tell you, we have always been complaining about the messy situation that our governors have thrown various states into.
Can we not firewall this?
How would you firewall? If you want to firewall it, first ensure that the local government system
works. We agree together on that.
Works, and that governors will not be, you know, compromising the resources.
But I come back to the issue of State House of Assembly. They are the checks on the excesses of the executive.
Would they be able to check police? I mean, if we have the situation we have now, and the governors will say there will be an election, there will not be an election, and then you can now add the fact that they also now have police powers.
No, but what if we take appointment and oversight of the police? Because for me, we can firewall it, and part of my recommendation is that the governor should not have anything to do with appointments or supervision.
If you call it state police,
That's why the nomenclature state police
there will be
not
state
flow. It should be
governors,
community policing.
who
Let
would
each
pay
community.
them, who will be paying
Sir,
them.
you are from Oyo State.
Yes.
Oyo State is so big.
Yes.
Sheyi Makinde cannot sit in Ibadan
Yeah.
and know what is going on in Ogbomoso
Well, look.
or in Shaki.
The best that you can do, I think if we strengthen the Nigerian police force, for now Nigerian police force is a unifying, institution that people are recruited and can be posted anywhere. And
But it has failed, has it not?
It has not completely failed.
It has failed
we are saying,
substantially.
I came here. You think?
No, it has failed
No, if
substantially.
it has failed, you will not be sitting here.
No, I beg to
discussing.
disagree with you, sir.
No. The Nigerian police has not failed.
Sir,
Well, how
2
has
days
it
ago,
failed?
just a
Yes.
few days ago,
Yes.
in an area in Abuja
Yes.
here, there was a scuffle, a skirmish between
Yes.
the military and
Yes.
some people,
Yes.
and the military took over the place.
Let me tell you.
Something
even
that is meant
in
for the police.
US, do you know how many
But
people?
we have to-
do you know how many people get killed in New York every day on
Sir,
a daily basis?
The spate of lawlessness and criminality all over Nigeria.
Criminals don't give notice. That is what you should appreciate.
yes.
They don't give notice.
Yes.
If you have 10 times the number of police we have, there will continue to be criminality.
Okay, so you don't support state or
I
community
can't
police?
support it because our governors will bastardize it.
Okay, that's your opinion.
Yes,
but
it is
sir,
my opinion.
I must thank you for coming.
It's my
today.
very
It's
big
been an
pleasure.
engaging
It is my pleasure.
interview.
It
You
is
never
my
disappoint me.
pleasure. It is my
You
pleasure.
never disappoint me.
It is my pleasure.
I hope let's do this again maybe in another 2-3 weeks.
Normally, I'm always available.
Let's do it
because,
again
I
after the
mean,
president has
yes,
done
then
their
we will have
celebrations.
enough
We'll come,
time,
yes, and review
to discuss
whatever
and
they are
review.
chest stomping on and all
I
of that.
pray that the government, particularly the president and
Yes.
people around him, would have watched this program so that the issues which have been
Yes.
brought out,
Yes.
they would prepare answers for them.
Let's hope so.
May I also say, if you
Yes.
have time, unfortunately, Mr. President, there's need for him. A lot of us have a lot of information, but we can't
No
have access.
No access.
So I think things should be
We'll talk about
streamlined.
that next time
There
you are
must
here,
be
sir.
liberalization of access to Mr. President so that we can give him ideas.
I agree with you, sir. Now, that's the program. That's the end of the interview segment. Like I always say, we need your support as sponsors and advertisers, either public, private sector or public sector. We need support to keep this program on air. The cost of running a TV channel, least of all a program such as this, is enormous. We need your support. And like I always say, follow me on my various social media handles, my TikTok page, my YouTube page. Subscribe to my video so you can watch this video. This particular interview, the full-length version of it is on my YouTube and also on my TikTok and Twitter. You can see them there. Remember what I always say, change requires action. Positive change requires positive action. I believe in a new Nigeria, and it is possible. Bye for now.